But let's just stick with the Zayd ibn Thabit edition. There are 114 surahs in Zayd's Quran. 114 surahs, one Quran. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, all the way up to 114 ones equals 1, according to Islam.
Here again, the most obvious fake philosopher in history surprises us with his ability to come up with a more stupid example than the previous one. Each surah of the Quran is part of the Quran. Is Jesus part of God? Would you say that Jesus is part of God? If you say that Jesus is part of God, then your position would not be as irrational as your belief in the Trinity. So listen to me, David. Listen to me, Christians. I believe that Surah 1 is part of the Quran. If I memorize 57 surahs, I have memorized half of the Quran. Now answer me. If you pray to Jesus, would you say that you pray to a third of God? If you say no, then you realize how stupid David Wood's example is. And if you say yes, then you are already an ex-Christian. Maybe you should consider converting to Islam. Let's carry on.
Things get more interesting when we think about the nature of those surahs. What is a surah of the Quran? What is Surah 2, for instance? What is its nature? You Muslims will say that its nature is the Quran, or that it's the speech of Allah. So different surahs of the Quran share the same nature, don't they? They all share the same nature as the eternal speech of Allah, don't they? Okay, let's think about this. Is Surah 1 identical to Surah 2? Is Surah 2 identical to Surah 3? Surah 1 is distinct from Surah 2, isn't it? Surah 2 is distinct from Surah 3, isn't it? And yet, their nature, what they are, is the same, because they're all the Quran, or the speech of Allah. So, Surah 1 is the Quran. Surah 2 is the Quran. Surah 3 is the Quran. But Surah 1 is not Surah 2. Surah 2 is not Surah 3. Surah 3 is not Surah 1. You Christians who are watching may recognize this as an illustration of the concept of the Trinity. The Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, but the Father is not the Son is not the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit is not the Father. Our Muslim friends tell us that this is impossible, and yet we can use the same illustration for the Quran.
Yes, Surah 1 is Quran. The nature of Surah 1 is a Quran. But Surah 1 is not the full Quran. Surah 1 is just part of the Quran. This is not equivalent to the Trinity at all. In the Trinity, Jesus is not part of God. Jesus is fully God, the Holy Spirit is fully God, and the Father is fully God. How many fully gods we have? One. That's the Trinity. Let's go to the next example.
What about the 10 official qira'at, the 10 different readings or recitations of the Quran? The different qira'at contain different Arabic letters and different Arabic words, and this led to differences in the text of the Quran in different parts of the world.
While this may sound compelling to David's followers, it's actually deceiving and misleading. Well, no, I should be fair to David. It's based on ignorance. Because when we talk about the reading and the qira'at, it's not like all the qira'at are different from each other. Actually, 99% of the qira'at, of all the qira'at, have in fact the same words. There are, though, few differences between them. So now we have to focus on those variants. For example, let's say that between Hafs and Warsh there is 120 variants. If we go to these 120 variants, for example, let's take Maliki and Maliki, Yawm al-Din, in Surah Al-Fatiha. Maliki, which is recited by Hafs, means the owner. Maliki, which is recited by Warsh, means king. Now these are two different words. Are they one word? No. No one would say that these two words are one word. They are two different words. Is Maliki Malik? No. Is Malik Malik? No. Malik is a word. Malik is a different word. How many words we have here? Two words. No Muslim in his right mind would say that these two words are actually one word. So how do we have one Quran then? It's very simple. The word could be recited as Malik and it could be recited as Malik. And both Malik and Malik are part of the one Quran. All of the variants between the different Qur'an. I think we have like 700 to 1000 variants between all the 10 qira'at and all the 20 transmitters. There are around 700 to 1000 variants. All of these 700 and 1000 variants are part of the one Quran. So when you have a certain words which are recited in two different words with different meanings, that means that these two words are part of the Quran. But are they one word? No, they are not. They are two words. Let's compare this to the Trinity. You have Jesus, you have the Holy Spirit, you have the Father. One God, one God, one God. How many gods are there? You would say one. In the case of the Quran, we have Malik and Malik. Malik is one word, Malik is one word. How many words do we have? Two words. I am very sorry, even though I would admit that the last example was at least much less stupid than the other ones, it is still not comparable to the Trinity. So here, the most obvious fake philosopher in history tried to save the Trinity using these stupid examples. I'm sorry, David, if intelligent Christian scholars could not explain the Trinity, could not show millions of Christians who left Christianity that the Trinity is rational. If they couldn't do that, do you think you could do that just by acting like a professional clown? Anyway, you don't need to worry, David. Just say the stupidest objection, and your fans will eat it up. And to everyone who's watching, thank you so much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.